Thank you for joining me today. It's Brian Gubernick, and welcome to the No Days Off podcast, where we believe that every single day brings a new opportunity to get better. Let's get into today's topic. It is part 4 of our health series. We've talked about exercise and movement. We've talked about nutrition. We've talked about sleep. Today, we're going to talk about 2 things that are near and dear to me, 2 things that my buddy, Dr. John Toma, insists that I have worked into my health plan. And those 2 things are sunlight, the sun, and number 2, what we call earthing or grounding. You may see these things as hacks or things that you should layer on in addition to, say, a solid health plan. I would disagree. I think that these 2 things are integral to your health plan, to improving your health. And in the spirit of the No Days Off movement, here are 2 things you want to try out and incorporate if, in fact, you are not doing a fantastic job in this area. So let's start by talking about light, sunlight. I think we all know, like, just being outside is good for us. But what I want to challenge our audience to do is be more purposeful around being in sunlight, creating exposure, spending more time out there outside, not so much to the point where you get a sunburn. But sunlight offers so many benefits to our physical and our mental well-being, and we just do not give it the attention it deserves. This kind of goes back to a recent podcast around the comfort crisis. The truth of the matter is our world is incredibly comfortable, and it draws us inside far more than our ancestors ever experienced. I want to turn that upside down. I think we should be spending a lot more time outside, especially in the sun. So why the sunlight? Why should you be getting sun? And by the way, when should you be getting the sun? Well, the sun, in no exact order. Here's some benefits. Here's some key advantages. First, we've all heard about the sun and vitamin D. Sunlight exposure helps our bodies produce vitamin D. And vitamin D is incredibly important as it pertains to our immune health, our general well-being, our bone health. It also plays a role in calcium absorption and a whole host of other things that I'm not qualified to talk around. But I know, in fact, sunlight boosts vitamin D synthesis. Sounds like something we should be doing. Next, sunlight or being exposed to natural light helps a ton with sleep regulation. Something that a lot of high achievers and those pushing hard every single day struggle with, regulating our sleep. So exposure to natural light helps us regulate our circadian rhythm. Google it if you're unfamiliar with that term. And the light helps with that sleep/wake cycle. Exposure to light during the day improves our sleep quality, and I don't know any of us that can't have better sleep. And we all know what it feels like to have better sleep, how you wake up that next morning. Why would we not crave more of that? In addition, the sunlight will improve your cognitive function. Research by Dr. Huberman, as a matter of fact, another guy you ought to research, suggests that being exposed to sunlight has a very positive effect on our cognitive function, which includes things like our attention, our alertness, our memory. And that's because sunlight stimulates dopamine, which is directly correlated to cognitive performance. Get into the science on a different podcast, but check it out. Last thing, and something that I feel, like noticeably feel when I have sun exposure, especially in the morning with that sunrise, which is, I think, the most important time to get sun exposure, when the sun is rising, actually looking at the sun and being in the sun. For me, no question, there's an increase in energy and an increase in overall vitality. The sunlight, I physically feel, boosts my energy levels. And absolutely, anytime I'm fatigued, anytime I need a break, the first place I go, regardless of temperature outside, is outside to the sun. Spending time outdoors in that natural light invigorates the body. You can't argue with it. Try it out if you don't believe me. Next time you feel a slight bit fatigued, next time you're hitting a rut during the day and you have the ability to walk outside, and ideally you live in a place that has some sun that day, stand out there for 5, 10, 15 minutes and just get some sun exposure and tell me you don't physically feel different. And if in fact you do, it begs the question, why would you not want more of that? Now, in addition to the sun, I want to briefly touch around grounding, earthing. What is that? Grounding/earthing is essentially the practice of connecting with the earth's electrical energy by literally standing barefoot on natural surfaces like grass, like sand, even concrete if it's directly connected to the ground. Just getting exposure to the earth helps us regulate our electrical energy. The concept behind earthing is just based on the idea that direct physical contact with the earth allows for a transfer of electrons from our own body, to the earth. Or maybe it's vice versa. I'm not the scientist here, but it allows for transfer of electrons from the earth into the body and vice versa. It's grounding. I mean, it is literally like you are grounding a current. What does it do for you? It will neutralize free radicals. It will reduce inflammation. It will again improve your sleep. It will reduce your stress. I know it sounds crazy, but try it out. And it will enhance your overall well-being. I will tell you, for me, when I go walking in the morning with the dog, which is something I do every single day, I will, no joke, and I don't care what anybody thinks, I'm flexing the IDGAF muscle. If you don't know what I'm talking about, listen to a previous episode. I don't care what anybody thinks, I will take my shoes off at the park and I will walk around barefoot no matter the temperature outside, whether it's hot or it's cold, I go barefoot. The feeling, the sensation of the grass on my feet creates a sense of well-being. And I know without question that the connection to the earth, I feel a benefit. I feel an energy boost. And maybe it's mental, maybe it's placebo. I think science would say otherwise, but maybe it is placebo. I don't care. If it makes me feel better, if it makes me attack the day a little differently, if being exposed to the sun and grounding and earthing, I should say, increases my performance that day, well, hell, that's right in line with the NDO movement. So 2 ideas, 2 things. If you're calling BS on it, try it out. See if you feel different. See if sitting in the sun doesn't change your mood. See if putting your feet in the grass doesn't make you feel a little different. Try it out over a week. Try it consecutive days. I bet you feel different. If you don't, I'll give you your money back. That's all I have for you today. The No Days Off podcast. Thank you so much for listening. And remember, every single day brings a new opportunity to get better. So let's get after it.